Whew. Big 12's a bitch, isn't it? Toughest conference in America. No kidding. Sooners got a chapter in that on Monday. And by the way, before I continue my discussion of Oklahoma's narrow loss to Iowa State on Monday night, just 9 hours after being named the number one team in the country by both the AP and the coaches, which hadn't happened since 1990. I did not do a post game on OU West Virginia on Saturday because my voice sounded like Froggy from the Little Rascals. I mean, I could barely talk. Yeah, was I sick? Oh, yeah. Did I have chest congestion to go with having a pretty raspy voice? Oh, yeah. I just really wasn't up for it, and it would not have made for good video at all on the internet. Me talking like this. Because basically that's how I sounded. But getting to my point about Oklahoma, Iowa State, now we'll highlight West Virginia in just a little bit, that game last Saturday, because it was a thriller, and of course Ladin with the tip-in at the end. The Sooners in this game, it was just the opposite of West Virginia. Besides the three-point shot, everybody, pop quiz. What is the strength of Oklahoma? What is a strength besides the three-point shot, which seems to be the most obvious strength for the Sooners? Free throw shooting. Getting to the free throw line often and hitting your free throws. In a game Monday at Iowa State, we didn't see the Sooners get to the cherry stripe that often. As a matter of fact, in the second half, the Sooners, after having a pretty disciplined half as far as not getting anybody in foul trouble, that changed in the second half. They were getting in foul trouble a lot, and at the same time, the Sooners really weren't establishing the issue trying to get to the line. Only 7 free throw attempts for the Sooners on Monday, and they only hit 4. Just quite the opposite against West Virginia on Saturday, where they got to the free throw line more often than the Mountaineers and made the majority of their free throws. In fact, made nearly all of them, as opposed to West Virginia, who shot like crap from the line. Game before, OU outshot OSU at the free throw line, and that was big because the Sooners narrowly escaped Stillwater. But this time, the free throw line was an enemy for the Sooners, all because they couldn't get there that often, and at the same time, they didn't capitalize, and Iowa State did. They got to the line more often and had a higher free throw percentage, over 80%. The Sooners, 4 of 7 for 57%, and that was a big factor in the game. Sooners are learning that the three-point shot is going to be a strength of theirs this year, but the three-point shot alone can't win you games. Further proof of this, Sooners were unbelievable from three-point range against Iowa State, on Monday night. Matter of fact, school record, 17 three-pointers. 17 of 32. And they still lost the game. Why? In case you didn't watch it. Well, because the Sooners in general did not have a good shooting day from the field. I mean, they only shot 43%. Another thing, too, again, we mentioned the free throw line was a factor as well. And they got absolutely massacred on the boards. Iowa State out-rebounding the Sooners 38-29. George Niang again got off to a good start against the Sooners like he did in the first meeting. He ended up at 22 for the game. Now, he didn't have a big second half, but he created a lot of that damage in the first half. And that's why Iowa State had a 6-point lead at halftime. Buddy Hield is no question one of the best players in the country. The last 2 games, though, he has not shot particularly well. And obviously that's got to change. Saturday, in the win over West Virginia, he was held to 17 and didn't get too many shots. In this game Monday night at Ames, Iowa, again, it wasn't one of his best shooting nights. Thank goodness Isaiah Cousins finally came to life. And this is the Isaiah Cousins in the losing effort that we've been waiting to see for a while now. Because, against Oklahoma State, bad start. Against Kansas, bad start. Against West Virginia, regrettable start, just horrible. But in this game, he started strong and he finished strong. And he was one of the big reasons why the Sooners had a shot to win. Remember, he hits the three-pointer with under a minute to go on Monday night to tie the game. It just so happens that Morris of Iowa State, hit a jump shot a few seconds later and, hit some free throws down the stretch, and that ended up dooming the Sooners. But at least Isaiah Cousins from this game. And I think that's one of the encouraging things for the Sooners, besides the fact that they're battling even in the 2 losses against KU and now Iowa State. They're battling. But Isaiah Cousins may be finding something. We thought that Ryan Spangler was finding something after the double-double, against West Virginia. On Monday night, he was terrible. I mean, I think he only hit 1 field goal out of, 6 tries. And that can't happen because the Sooners, again, it is a team that really relies on its backcourt for point production. But if anybody's not playing well, and again, Jordan Woodard did not have one of his best games on Monday, somebody else needs to step up. The only way the Sooners are going to get to the Final Four, my opinion, is if all 5 of the starters are getting involved positively at the same time. At times we see Spangler do this. We've seen Jordan Woodard have his fair share of good games. Tonight was not one of them. Kadeem Latin, usually he's a rebounding force. Tonight wasn't one of his best nights. Isaiah Cousins turned it on. But we've been waiting a while to see that. And Buddy Hield, he'll give you threes at times, but he'll take 3 sometimes from anywhere. I mean, there was one where he took it from it looked like from Iowa City, Iowa. I mean, it was way out there and it was off. So the Sooners need to be a little more disciplined when it comes to their shooting. But again, 17 threes is an amazing achievement, but it means nothing if you don't win the game. So that scoring has got to come more often from inside. And if not, then the Sooners are going to be prone to losing, 3 or 4 more games at least. And in a year where you've got Buddy Hield, where you've got Cousins, where you've got Spangler, all seniors, this is going to be the Sooners' best chance, and who knows for how long, their only chance in quite a while to get to the Final Four. Once you get to the Final Four, anything can happen. Ask Kentucky last year, who was undefeated, and Wisconsin knocked them off. Once you get to the Final Four, you've got just as good of a shot at the national championship as anybody else. For me, the Sooners, their goal, number 1 seed in their region, or at least number 2. So that way you can get those first 2 NCAA tournament games at Chesapeake Arena, one of the 8 arenas that's hosting a sub-regional. You can get there. It's like a home game or like home games for the first and second round, and you'll be expected to win them. Then you should have the yellow brick road paved to getting to at least the Sweet 16 and having 2 more wins needed to get to that magical Final Four. And it can happen for the Sooner team. Give credit to Iowa State making the plays down the stretch. They outshot the Sooners. They out-rebounded the Sooners, and they executed down the stretch, and the Sooners did not. And again, the Sooners fall short in a game in which they're ranked number 1. They were number 1 in the coaches' poll against Kansas, fell in triple overtime. Number 1 in both polls entering Monday. That'll change next week. And Iowa State gets them. And for Iowa State, they had to have this game. There's no question they had to have it. They had already lost 3 conference games. They still have Kansas and West Virginia to play twice. And they still got to go to Baylor, who beat them in Ames earlier in the year. So Iowa State gets a much, much needed win. And after January 18th, there's now a 3-way tie for first in the Big 12. West Virginia, Kansas, as well as Baylor. And the Sooners now a game behind. Speaking of Baylor, that's who OU will play next on Saturday. We'll see if the Sooners can get more front court effort. And we'll see if they can get back to doing what they do best, which, other than the 3-point shot, which was there tonight, but they needed to get to the free throw line more often, and that doomed them, and they've got to get tougher in the paint. Only 9 turnovers, but again, the Sooners fall short. Congratulations to Iowa State, and again, congratulations to OU for the win 2 days before against West Virginia. Been a lot of nail-biters lately for the Sooners. Expect more. Again, Big 12, toughest conference in college basketball. Sooners battle, but fall short against Iowa State. Thanks, everybody.